Hello everybody, welcome to this week's art lesson. Some of you may know that over the past couple of days I've been with year sixes at Wick Court Farm in Gloucester. There's a little clue as to one of the kinds of farm animals that I've been helping to feed and muck out and look after. Can you guess what it is? Right, it is indeed a goose. So this week's art homework is inspired by animals, possibly pets, or your favourite animals. Many artists find very valuable companionship in their pets. They provided them with means of exercising and even just being playful after long, intense hours spent working on their art in their studio. Artists including Frida Kahlo, can you spot there who she enjoyed spending time with? Yes, the little monkey there. Let's find out about the animals that inspired 4 particular artists. Spanish artist Pablo Picasso produced many continuous line drawings of animals, and we'll be looking at this technique later in the lesson. His dachshund dog called Lump, great name, was the inspiration for one of them. And you can see that Lump here is very simply drawn. One line. The hand never lifts off the page in this drawing. But did you know that Picasso had a pet goat by the name of Esmeralda? His beloved goat was immortalised in many drawings, sculptures and pottery. Esmeralda means emerald, and she was a precious jewel to him. Another Spanish-born artist, Juan Miro, was fascinated with animals, their shape, how they moved and how they behaved. He would spend hours watching them. Many of Miro's works of art feature animals and animal-like creatures, and in the 1970s, he experienced with a form of printing called lithography and produced many surrealist images of cats like this one. It's called The Happy Cat, made in 1975. Notice how it is made of simple lines and shapes, just like Picasso's Lump. In response to Miro, this painting is by Darcy, aged 10. She made it at a place called Art Room Brighton, where she had seen lots of pictures of Miro's work. I think her magic animals look really alive, and I think they would love to play with the ones Miro drew. Next, Mexican-born artist Frida Kahlo was undeniably inspired by animals. In fact, did you know 55 of the 143 paintings she created feature animals, many of them her pets? Frida was in a serious bus accident when she was only 18, and it required her to have lots of operations and led her to experience health problems her entire life. It left her unable to have a family, so her pets became like her children. And the menagerie of animals that Kahlo owned included a fawn, an eagle, parakeets, macaws, hens, sparrows, and Mexican hairless dogs. So she always had animal muses, that is, inspirations, close to hand. Our last artist, Augusta Savage. As a child, Florida-born Harlem Renaissance artist Savage spent hours creating clay ducks, pigs and chickens. She found a lot of clay in her hometown of Green Cove Springs. Now, as a teenager, Savage was paid to teach modelling classes at her high school, and after finishing school she continued to make clay figures of animals and people. At one point, she received a prize for a sculpture she entered in an art exhibition, and that money gave her a boost to her self-esteem and motivated her to pursue opportunities to study art, which she did successfully, and it led to her gaining scholarships to further develop her talent in Paris. Now, I'm going to give you an idea of 2 possible activities you could be doing for your art homework this week. One is choosing a photograph or even working from life, from real life observation, to make a continuous line study of your favourite pet or animal. I'm going to choose my neighbour's cat who's sort of adopted me, and her name is Fluffball. Another thing you could do is using clay or plasticine to make an autobiographical sculpture of yourself with your pet or another animal. Will you be standing up or sitting down? Will you be holding or patting your animal? And how big would you want your sculpture to be? Where would you like it to be located? In a local park, your garden, or even out and about on a walk through the city? It's a good idea to plan your ideas for your sculpture on a piece of paper first before you start moulding and shaping. Then find some plasticine, make your own Play-Doh, or even work with a pile of dirt that you can add water to, moisture, allowing you to sculpt with it.
This is a continuous line drawing of Fluffball, mentioned earlier. Fluffball, who's adopted me. The line in a continuous line drawing is unbroken from the beginning to end. The drawing implement, in this case a graphite stick, which is the same as what you have in the centre of your pencil, well, that stays in uninterrupted contact with the surface of the paper during the entire length of the drawing. In other words, I don't lift my hand, my graphite stick, my pencil, my pen from the page. If you watch me closely, you'll see that I do this once because it's really tricky to do. But Klee and Picasso and many other artists have favoured this technique as a way to push their own limits, to see and interpret their subject matter, what it is you're drawing, in new and unexpected ways. I've taught this technique to year 5s recently who said, you know, when I was drawing, without lifting my hand off the page and just really looking at the subject matter, I noticed more. And I was surprised by how much detail I achieved. It was tricky at first because I'm not used to the lack of movement, but I actually enjoyed it. It was a bit different. Your outcome isn't going to look exactly the same as your subject matter, but it's interesting to note the differences.
Thank you to everyone who has sent in their work over this past half term. We have thoroughly enjoyed looking at each and every one of your artworks and seeing them all displayed together in the gallery. It's really special when you also tell us a bit more about the story behind your artwork, what inspired you, and to find all the interesting titles, how they are so very different and personal to you. I can't wait to see what you make this week. Do continue making over the half-term holidays. I'm going to set you a challenge to draw every day, even if it's only for a couple of minutes. You could do a little diary, a visual diary, drawings of things you're doing each day, and send those in as well, or just keep them in an art journal at home. It's a lovely record of time spent with your family, with your friends. Happy holidays, everyone, and I really look forward to seeing you when we're all back again. Cheerio!